According to me, we should be aware of few trends. Let's try sequel. Let's give it a shot. Okay, what will happen? Okay, let's give it a shot. But that is a wrong step. And I jumped to working in a startup. One more tip which I would like to give everyone is like, don't be nervous. Just be yourself. If you don't know answer for any question, there is one more thing like everybody should go through their resume very thoroughly, where the salary range is between 6 to 18 lakhs, which is like it's not about having the right opportunity. It's like about handling the opportunities in a right way. Like no one has to be great to start. It's like, but you have to start to be great. Recession is still going on, it's still there. Usually focus on efficiency. So, a data analyst are very crucial to identify some cost saving opportunities. Nowadays, mostly what is happening, if it will actually boost your confidence, it will improve your communication skills as well. Because every data analyst or person getting into a data related field should know I'm applying correlation, regression, but regression is not required, but still I have applied regression. Regulations will strengthen, creating more job offers for people in data governance or compliance. This is the change which we will see, which we can see in India in the next 5 years. You'll rise. You'll actually rise.
Today we have the very special guest with us. She has been working in data field since 2017 and has great experience in data management and analytics. She completed her bachelor's in mathematics from Delhi University and her master's in statistics from MIT University. She has worked in 4 plus big companies and is recognized as top voice in data management on LinkedIn. Let's give a warm welcome to a super talented and data driven powerhouse, Miss Nimisha Jalota. Hello Nimisha ma'am, how are you?
Hello, Chaitanya. I'm good. How are you?
I am too good. I am too good. First of all, I would like to thank you for coming to my podcast and giving your prestigious time for this podcast. Today, the knowledge you are going to share that will be really valuable for all the data aspirants and the students who want to come in a data industry. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for inviting me, Chaitanya. Means a lot.
Coming towards our first point, I want to discuss a very important point about you. What was your professional journey and what was your education journey so far? We want to know about your education journey, how you started your educational journey, and how was your professional journey going on right now?
So I did my bachelor's in mathematics and my master's in statistics. Then starting with my professional journey, I started as a consultant trainee with a big company and then I jumped to working in a startup as a data management trainee. And after some time, I worked as a research assistant with an organization which supports NGO. And after that, I worked with Delhi University College in a fellowship as a data manager. And currently, I'm working in a big company as a data analyst.
That's really great to know about you. That's really great. So, ma'am, also you have the big professional experience. Also, I go through your LinkedIn. At that time, I saw that you have worked around 3+ companies and you have a good experience. So, we want to know more about what was your job application process. How did you crack the interview? What tips and tricks that help you throughout this all the process, like applying for the job and while facing the interview and everything. So, you please share us about the tips and tricks and also give us a brief about your process.
So, first of all, what we generally should go through is like going through the job profile. So, for example, if you are good in Python and the job description demands SQL, people like us, they'll be like, let's try SQL. Let's give it a shot. Okay, what will happen? Okay, let's give it a shot. But that is a wrong step. So we should first go with the job description if it matches with our qualifications, with our knowledge, if it's okay with us. Like some people want to jump into Power BI and then Python, then we should go through the job description accordingly. And then what I did was revised some concepts before giving the interview. So which boost my confidence actually. If okay, I'll be confident enough to answer that question. Okay, according to the job description. Okay, and then one should know about the company which where you will be interviewing into. So they because normally people will ask you, okay, what do you know about our company? Why do we do this? So we should know about the company. We should do some research actually based on it. And according to me, we should be aware of few trends which is happening in the market right now. And one more tip which I would like to give everyone is like, don't be nervous. Just be yourself. If you don't know answer for any question, just tell them honestly, okay, I don't know, because people will actually appreciate your honesty and they would like to keep you under your team. And then after the interview, just send them a thank you note, like thank you for considering me in your interview process, means a lot. And then follow up with the company about the if you're selected, what is going to happen, how you can improve yourself. And I followed one quote actually, which is like, it's not about having the right opportunity, it's like about handling the opportunities in a right way, which is like how you can motivate yourself to make the most of every chance you get. So this is what I follow, and this is what motivated me every time when I applied for jobs.
Yes, the very important point you said, that the know about the company while applying the job,
Yes.
because many of the
Yes.
students, and even I also, while starting phase, I don't know about the company where I am applying.
Mm.
I just see the apply button, I just click the apply button and go through the
Yeah.
application process. But it's
Mm.
very important, while the HR round started, the HR asked about the company, what do you know about the company, and how you
Mm.
get through the process and all the things. That
Mm.
time the
Mm.
really students get stuck, and
Yeah,
our
they get.
confidence get loose, or our communication get loose that time, and because of that
Mm.
many chances of getting rejected.
Which is true. And there is one more thing, like everybody should go through the resume very thoroughly. Like what projects you have done, what statistical analysis have you applied, why have you applied. So one should know that, because most of the companies will go into the details of your projects, of your skills, of your education, your work experience. They'll definitely go into this.
Yes, yes, really great to know about this process and all the things. Now, my question is like, what is the salary of a data scientist in India as a
Hmm.
fresher? If the bachelor student is going as a fresher, or the 5+ years of experience of a senior data analyst, we can say, what's the salary range of these people in India right now going on, as compared to like MNCs, startups,
Hmm.
and the
Hmm.
product-based companies? Is there any
Hmm.
difference? We want to
Hmm.
know more about it.
Yes, there is a difference, because your salary will actually depend on the company you're applying to, the role which you will be applying to, the job location, your qualifications. It will all depend on that. So if you are entering as an intern in as a data analyst, then usually big MNCs, they will give maximum up to 20K to 25K a month. And for if you'll go to other companies, they'll be like, okay, 10K to 15K for an intern. But if you apply for a job as a data analyst, then usually the salary range will be between 4 to 10 lakhs per annum. And then for data scientists, if you will go, then it's like between 6 to 20 lakhs, because data field has now it's like very vast now. And then if you many people are going to data engineer field as well, which is where the salary range is between 6 to 18 lakhs per annum. And for a business intelligence analyst, it's like between 5 to 12 lakhs. And for a machine learning engineer, it should be between 8 to 25 lakhs per annum. It depends on the company. That's why the range.
So the market is already up in the India right now in 2024, and it will be more up in 2025, 2026.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So my next question is like, what resources do you use to crack the job, or your educational journey? Means, do you go through some special books, some special YouTube channels, or the websites that help you to get in the career?
I actually started with few online courses, few certified courses, which really helped me gain some knowledge. And actually, I revised few concepts, few statistical concepts through it, which was very helpful. Because as a data analyst, if you are entering into a data science, then you should know mathematics also. So there are few courses also which will teach you basic mathematics also required for that particular role. I watched also YouTube videos, which is very, very helpful. And I usually revise my concepts. I usually do. And because we all learn. We are still learning. We'll be learning all our life, which is, yes, we need to learn. And then I usually check LinkedIn also for the latest trends. And I attend webinars, and many people post interview questions. There are like 70 to 80 pages, but I will suggest go through them. It's very helpful. There are few people who will be posting about Python. If you want to go for as a Python developer, then you should definitely go through those questions. It's very, very helpful. I've experienced that, and it's very good.
Yes, so as you said that you have to follow the trend. Even I experienced this in my career and now also, because my work is like data visualization engineer. I do the data visualization reports and the dashboard. So when the Power BI update comes on Microsoft, first I have to read the all the update first. What the new update
Yes.
is actually. Is they giving any more chance to what we can say the minimize my time of doing the work? Is they are going to update any new charts or anything? I have to read each and every part. Then I will go to some website. Then I will search what is in the update, the new update came, and how it will make my work easily. It's really important to get updated with trend. What is the trend going
That's
on
true.
and everything? Yeah, and
That's
you
definitely.
said about the go through the Python like 100 questions of Python or the Power BI questions. Even through my this my channel or the Instagram, I also post some of the 2 to 3 documents regarding the Python question and answers that are asked in fag companies. Mostly, I collected from the some of the website I just pasted and I posted. It get amazing reach, and also it will really helpful for the friends, because it's once you go through that 100 questions, you get realize that where I am right now, what I have to learn.
Exactly.
Even there are many concepts that we don't know on the, and even we don't saw on the YouTube or also in certification, but we go through that questions, we really get to understand that. My next question is like, how does your personal project help you to build your career? How does you get experience from the personal projects, and how it is beneficial for your interview process, and what personal projects you done?
Before doing a personal project, I built a portfolio, my portfolio, which is like a well documented project that serves as a proof of your capabilities, your talents, your skills, all the projects you have worked on, basically. So I wanted to get to the visualization part of the data. I really like it. Get into that, I must know Tableau or Power BI. I did a project in related to finance, which was to identify some cost saving opportunities using slicers or filters, and to compare some and to explore some patterns by category. I downloaded the data from Google. It's available. One can always download the data from Google, or you can get a dummy data also. And as a practice purpose, I built a dashboard in Power BI, and I watched some videos like how to build a dashboard, and I followed step by step. And this really helped me gain knowledge. Okay, that what is Power BI? Why are we using this particular graph? So now I can confidently say, okay, now I know Power BI, and now I've included in my resume and in my portfolio, which will obviously help anyone fetch a good role with a good salary.
So also, while the personal project really helps to build our portfolio, and as you said, you have built the portfolio. It's very important to build the portfolio, because it helps to the recruiter. Once they go through your portfolio, it get really easy to see your the experience of the projects instead of going through the resume. Yeah,
Exactly,
because
yes.
in portfolio you add the images, you add the videos, visuals, so it will be easy to them to judge you quickly. And even you said the building the dashboard, it's means it's me also like to build the dashboard. When I completed my bachelor's and also data analytics field, I really like to build the dashboard only instead of going through the machine learning, all the learning algorithms, because I started it to learn the algorithms, but it's really not coming in my mind, and I just decided to go through the visualization report making only. Yeah, coming towards our next point, that is, I also saw on your LinkedIn that was you are the top data management voice. So we want to know more about the how you get this badge of the top data management voice. What the things you put on the LinkedIn, how you help a community about the data management, and let's tell us more about the data management voice and badge.
Starting with the basic, one should have a photo on the LinkedIn profile, like photo, a career summary, and you should always list your relevant skills, because one can always endorse your skills, and this will help your profile get more views. Because every day I open my LinkedIn and it's like, okay, you got 7 more views, you got more views, because and people are endorsing my skills, which is really helpful. And then one should always comment on post of someone, one should always support each other, and one should always like someone's post, because it will usually go into the notification of someone, okay, this person has liked this post, so this will also increase your views of your profile. And then one should always network with people in your domain to grow, so this will also increase your views. This will definitely increase your views. And then once you start doing that, you will receive few notifications from LinkedIn that okay, you need to comment on an article. You'll get many articles to comment on, and you have to comment on few articles. You need to write on few articles, and then when you go through the articles, you will find people with many perspectives. That okay, this is what they are thinking about. Okay, what is their thinking process? So one should always reply. One should always write in such articles. It's really helpful. And after that, if you'll continuously do this, you'll definitely get a badge. You'll definitely get a badge, because when I didn't have a badge and I saw other people having a badge, I read a quote where it was written like no one has to be great to start. It's like but you have to start to be great. I followed that, and then I started writing the articles, and then I write articles on a social media platform also. I write there also. I blog there sometimes, and I get few benefits also after getting the badge. It's like I got the increased visibility to my profile from my peers, from recruiters, anywhere, from anywhere in the world. And then it boosted my professional reputation as well. And then people, after getting the badge, people will definitely trust you, and they will reach out to you that okay, Nimisha, what is the process of the interview of this particular profile? How did you get the job? Can you please guide us? This is very nice when people trust you and they reach out to you for the guidance, because we all have been there in that stage, and we should always, yeah, help someone who have been in that stage. And then one more benefit which I get is like we get exclusive trainings from LinkedIn, which is very nice, which is very good. Actually, it's very helpful also. And then you can get good offers, and you can get the invites to speak on a social media platform. Like, thank you very much, Chaitanya. I got it from you. Yes. And then you get the opportunity to influence trends also. So these are the benefits which I've received. So it has been really helpful.
Yes, yes, yes. So I have the little questions regarding it. As
Yeah.
you said, the uses of it. How much time it takes usually when you
Hmm.
start? Let's take the example. You start in this month. This month is October. You start the writing article in this month. Till what date you will get the badge? In how many months?
It usually depends how active you are on writing the articles, because sometimes we'll miss, okay, we are busy, okay, we'll miss writing on few of the articles. But if you are very active, then around 1.5 to 2 months, then you'll definitely get a badge. And then you'll get one notification, okay, comment on 3 or more articles, then you will definitely get a badge. Then after that, you will get a badge and it will showcase on your profile.
So it has any validation time of the badge, like any validation time, or it's like permanent badge you get?
It's not permanent. It's like will be visible for some time, but we still have to contribute.
From now also, I will start to write the articles on data visualization. So I will also
Yeah,
get the
please
badge.
do, please do.
Yes, yes, yes. So as you say that you write the articles and go through the many articles, so I want to know about in 2024, in October 2024, how's the data industry is the recession going on? And anyways, knows we all knows that competition is too high, but everyone says that recession is going on. There are big MNC companies who are firing the many of the peoples at a time, and there is the recession.
Recession is still going on. It's still there. And competition is very tough, because after recession, there is like more competition now. So there is like an increased demand for data driven insights in almost like every company now. So it's like during a recession, company usually focus on efficiency. So a data analyst are very crucial to identify some cost saving opportunities. And the businesses seek insights into consumer behavioral patterns. So they adopt those strategies to maintain competitive. Then there is like more professionals may enter a company, because like for example, if a person has been laid off from a company A and he has to go to a company B, then the people in company B will feel more competitive that okay, the person coming from company A must be very good in his or her work. So for the people working in company B, they need to showcase their skills by doing some certified courses, by showing people that okay, they know this particular thing, this particular software, for example. So it's like a competition for them now, because they'll be competing with people who have been laid off, because they're very intelligent. they're very intelligent who have been laid off. They are on much very great good salaries who have been laid off. Then there is like companies may hire some remote people related in data field to check their cost savings, so they don't have to, so that they can work at home comfortably and they don't have to go anywhere, which like saves costs. It saves a lot of cost, which is good also. It's very good because people are very inclined towards that, and it's even I'm very inclined towards that. It's good actually. Like, but yeah, it's good.
Okay, so also I want to discuss you one point, like many of the data aspirants and the data science students that things like the science field or data analytics field is all about the coding or the mathematics statistics, and they think like communication is not needed much for the job role. Is it true that the communication really matters for the data scientist job role?
Oh, yes, definitely, because they need to present their findings to stakeholders and even to stakeholders who are from non-technical backgrounds. So, they because mostly data scientists, data analysts, they have to work in cross-functional teams because and clear and effective communication is very essential for a data analyst, data scientist, because we need to present our complex analysis in simpler terms in a very short time. And we need to understand our audience and we need to speak their language. Like, for example, if I'm presenting my findings and you are the stakeholder and you have knowledge in Power BI and I have my dashboards built in Power BI, then I can use the relevant terminologies to you. I can talk to you in that terminologies because you will understand. But if I'm talking to a person from a non-technical background, then I'll have to show, okay, like why is this happening? I have to use simpler terms. If I'm using a difficult term, I have to make them understand by showing the graph that, okay, this is happening. Why is this happening? You have to show data labels. You can make it more beautiful by using colors and all, because any non-technical person will like the chart like that way. So it's very, yeah, communication is very important.
Yes, yes, because they have to do the more meetings. They have to tell them the
Mm.
insights. Even I do my freelancing work. My clients are like they are non-technical. Many of the clients are non-educated also, because we do the work for the some of the US supermarkets. Okay, we create the dashboard for them and we show to them, and we have to explain each and every part to them, like where the actual your products gets lost and in which month and everything. So it's not easy task, but doing the meetings is important because it's depend upon all your work at the end, and then only you will get the future work, and your communication should be strong. So can you give some tips, like as a data scientist, how they can increase their communication skill while they are studying or anything?
I think, according to me, you should watch some podcast and you should hear people out in related to data related in data field. And then I think you should do networking. You should really do networking. That you can do networking on LinkedIn. It's very important because it will actually improve your communication skill. Like if you'll ask them to get on a call with you, and that will actually boost your confidence and that will improve your communication skills as well. So yeah, networking is like a very, very plus point.
Also, I want to discuss that nowadays the many non-tech people are coming to a data science field or data analytics field. So for that, how the degree matters? Is the degree really matters or the skill matters in India?
If a non-technical person who have done all his masters, bachelors, etc., wants to get into a technical background, then he or she should check that exactly what profile they would like to get into. Like, for example, if there are various jobs for data field, we all know that there is SQL developer, there's Python developer, there's TableU developer, there is machine learning engineer, data analyst, data scientist, etc. So one should check the profile they would like to get into. One should research on it. It's because it's very helpful. Because I also researched before getting into a data analyst field that okay, this is what I would like to get into, and then to that, after you have decided that what profile would you like to get into, then you should check all the skills required for that job. And then according to that, you can always do some online courses, some certified courses. Certified courses for such people will be very important because they can put it in their resume, their portfolio, and they will get noticed. So it's very important. And then they should get some hands-on experience of some project, like through internships or some online projects, like I mentioned about the personal project to you regarding the finance one. They can always do. And then one should um, practice some statistical analysis and how to interpret some data and how to derive the insights from it. And then one should practice their critical thinking skills and problem solving skills. It's very helpful. And then after that, one should build a portfolio. Like, okay, this is what projects I've worked on, this is what skills I've worked on. Because for a non technical person, portfolio will play a very major role in getting a good job. It will play a very nice role. And then after that, you can apply for an entry level position, like there is data assistance. You can always get into that. And yeah, and then one should always stay updated with the trends, with the market. And yeah, we should connect with professional also through LinkedIn to know more about the market, which that is also very helpful.
Yes. So I have one question regarding it. See,
Mm.
let's take an
Mm.
example. If the 10th class or 12th class student is going to pass out, okay, and
Mm.
he
Mm.
decided to not to do his bachelor's degree, or
Mm.
he want to
Mm.
join directly some courses or the boot camps, and
Mm.
he want to build his skills more about. Let's take the example of machine learning. He want to become a machine learning engineer, and he is
Mm.
really talented guy who is good in statistics, and he
Mm.
grabbed that all the knowledge within the 1 years, 1.5 year. He also completed his internship, everything. Will he able to
Mm.
crack the job?
Nowadays, mostly what is happening, if you'll go through a job description, they'll actually ask you for a bachelor's degree, at least. Master's degree is there, but bachelor's, they'll definitely ask for a bachelor's degree. But yeah, that person, he or she can definitely try. Like, why do they want to get that job? By showing their portfolio, like I mentioned. They can try, they can definitely try, but if the recruiters are impressed, they'll definitely hire him or her. They'll definitely do that. But that is like very less percentage that it happens. But yeah, it happens.
So also I want to know that what's the job market right now, when and also
Mm.
want to know when you started, as you enter as a fresher in the market, what that time the job market is, and what is the
Mm.
job market right now is going on, how the skill
Mm.
difference from the when you enter as a fresher and right now what is happening in the market.
When I joined the industry, there were data roles which were only like data analyst only data analyst. And then later on, it went to like Power BI developer, then data scientist, then there is like SQL developer, then there is like AI and machine learning jobs also. So at that time, data scientist jobs were not there. It was not there. So yeah, there is like a lot of change now. And then when I joined, we were like too focused on the statistical knowledge and focused on Excel also too much. As we generally used to do analysis like in a very traditional way. But now everybody should know either SQL or Python or R or a data visualization tool, which is very important nowadays. Because if you don't know anything, then it's difficult to get a job now. Or you must have some like some research skills also, because there are few companies who hire people based on their research skills as well. So yeah, that is also important. But also when I joined, there was like some limited cross functional collaboration. But now it's like the cross functional collaboration has increased, which is very good. You will get exposure, it will actually boost your confidence, it will improve your communication skills as well. So yeah, nowadays it's like it's growing, it's good, it's very nice.
I want to know what courses and certification that help you throughout your career.
First of all, I did watch some YouTube videos for Excel, because every data analyst or person getting into a data related field should know Excel. It's very important, because Excel will actually help you boost your confidence, and it will help you move forward, and it will help you because Excel you can do visualization also, you can do data cleaning also. So knowing Excel is very important. And then I did few courses on Excel, some basic courses on Excel. I watched some YouTube videos on Excel. After that, I actually did some SQL courses also. SQL courses were very helpful because I have added that in my resume. And recruiters now see that, okay, she knows SQL, we can hire her, which is very helpful. And I did one or two data science courses as well, so that I can revise some statistical concepts, few tests, some mathematics, because I have background in mathematics also. So I wanted to revise those concepts as well, and I wanted also to jump into Python also, because data science requires Python knowledge also a lot. So I did few courses on it as well.
In 2024, what subject tools and techniques are required to enter as a fresher in a data analyst or data scientist? Important, you must have to learn this.
You must have to learn this. I think Excel. Excel you must have to learn. You should know basic Excel. It's very important, because for us, for like for data visualization tool, for analysis tool, companies will teach you. They will give you some training also, because some companies actually give some trainings for that. But if you have even some basic knowledge also, for example, if you are getting into a SQL related job, but if you have some basic knowledge also, that is also very good for a fresher. That is still very good. So yeah, that will be very helpful. Some knowledge in Excel. Excel is very good, and some basic knowledge of the tool which you like to get into.
And also want to discuss one important point that is for going to beneficial for other students. What the mistake you have done in your professional journey?
We all commit mistakes. We all do mistakes. Like sometimes I have done, like I was too focused on the technical side of the data, that I forgot about the objective. Like what is the goal? Why am I doing this analysis? Like I'm applying correlation, regression, but regression is not required. But still, I have applied regression. So this can actually lead to insights which are very technically sound, but it has like not relevant to decision makers, and it makes your analysis less valuable. So the solution is like one should always clarify their business goals with the stakeholders, so that they can ensure that the results are framed in a way that it directly supports your goals. So one should always communicate with the stakeholders for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so my next point to be discussed is, where do you see Bharat in next 5 years in a data field as compared to European countries?
Okay, if I'll go only for India as of now, if I'll go only for India, it's like the business across like all the sectors will increasingly leverage data analytics for decision making purposes, leading to increase in their demand. Then artificial intelligence and machine learning will become more integrated into business processes, requiring more skilled data analyst, data scientist. And then with growing concern over data privacy, regulations will strengthen, creating more job offers for people in data governance or compliance. Then in next 5 years, I think what I'm seeing is like educational backgrounds, institutions will expand the data science analytics course, data analytics course,
Business school
and
like.
companies. Yes, yeah, it has started happening now.
Yes, yes,
And
business
the
school.
companies are now have started to invest in upskilling their workforce, which is now I see that it will now increase. And the startups have and they like startups will emerge, requiring more data analysts to give them some data driven insights, and to get them the idea of some trends of or some consumer behavioral patterns. So this is the change which we will see, which we can see in India in the next 5 years. And then, as if we compare with European countries, for example, then India is expected to experience some rapid growth in data adoption across, which will lead to increase in their demand. And while for Europe, while they are established in their field, but they may face some slower growth due to some regulatory challenges and more mature market. And then, like for India, it is likely to emerge as a key player in a data field globally, and it can provide some solutions and some services also. While Europe, they will remain influential, but they may face competition from agile countries like India and some emerging markets also. But India in Europe will complement each other because India will focus more on the innovation part, while Europe will focus more on the stability part. So they'll actually complement each other also.
But I saw one thing like when the companies from the European countries want to establish their companies in India, okay, and they start the companies, but they don't give the salary as compared to the US market rates. They give the salary for the employees as per the Indian market rates. Do you think is it good or bad?
If you are starting as a fresher, then every fresher will feel like, okay, this is how it is. Okay, we should accept it. We should get some work experience because startups actually provide some very good experience. Many people actually want to get into startups as a fresher because it actually provides some good experience. But on a salary wise, yes, it's less, but I think for freshers, experience matters more. Your skills matters more. Your learning will matter more.
Okay, so my last question is like, what the advice you want to give to all the data aspirants or the students who want to land in the career, or what guidelines you should give to them?
Okay, so according to me, every person who wants to get into this field should know the basics, the root of the data analytics, like maths, statistics, Excel, and then one can jump into then Python, SQL, and then the data visualization part if you want to get into. And then you can do some online courses also, some certified courses, very very helpful. Please do that, it's very nice. I have done many certified courses and it's mentioned in my LinkedIn as well. It's very good, you'll actually get noticed a lot. And then work on few projects, work on few online projects to build a portfolio and develop your communication skills, your storytelling skills. It's very important, it's very very important actually. And then keep learning, stay updated, apply to entry level jobs at first to get some hands on experience, and then you'll rise, you'll actually rise.
It's really great to talk with you, Nimisha ma'am. I would really thank you so much to you for coming to my
Thank you.
podcast and giving us the valuable knowledge and sharing your all the career journey with us. Yes, in future this podcast will really valuable for all the data aspirants who want to come in the industry. Thank you so much, ma'am.
I'll be happy to know that. Thank you. Thank you.
Please let me know in the comment which guest would you like to see on this podcast and any specific topics you would like us to discuss with them. We will try to bring those guests and ask your questions so you will get more helpful information. Before you go, share this episode with someone. It might really help them because one conversation can change a person's life, giving them a new idea and direction. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you in next video.